Southurst, reporting for bitsonline.com, and today I'm at the Satoshi's Vision conference in Tokyo talking to Jon Ellithorpe of Coinbase. He's a senior software engineer, and he oversaw most of the project that implemented Bitcoin Cash on the Coinbase and GDEX.
Well, GDEX was a separate team, but definitely worked with them on some of the integration. Most of the APIs that GDEX uses, a lot of them are provided by our main code base. So I worked very closely with them, but they're a separate team, but definitely was involved.
So I just caught your talk earlier on, and I was a little bit startled by how much work actually went into implementing Bitcoin Cash, because I mean, I know this goes on, but most people, when they see an exchange, they think that you can just make anything happen by clicking your fingers and pushing a button, suddenly Bitcoin Cash.
Yes.
But it's not like that at all, is it?
Not even a little bit. And that's actually the main motivation that brought me here to give this talk, is when you're dealing with the amount of assets that Coinbase has to deal with, there's a lot of security precautions, regulatory checks that need to happen, and there's a significant amount of work to do it what we consider the right way to do it, and provide enough adequate testing that we're not putting customer funds at risk. And what we find is there's no magic, oh, there's this new coin, let's add it tomorrow. This pipe dream really doesn't exist for exchanges that are handling the money in a very safe way. And there's always going to be an exchange that is the first to market, but they are also the ones taking the highest risk of adding those new assets.
That's right. I mean, day one, they're all screaming like, "Wow, why don't you add this coin or that coin?" And then day three, they're saying like, "How did you get hacked so easily?"
Right, and it's because they didn't take all of the precautions that someone like Coinbase will take. For us, it's all about safety and really testing and overly testing everything that we do, whether that's test-driven development processes so that we know when we're delivering code that we're delivering the highest value, to internal testing with our staff, both technical and non-technical, feature gates so that we can iteratively improve the code and be able to test it along the way. Also, a lot of our deployment tools and being able to easily redeploy things when we need to. We take a lot of care to make sure that if we have a failure situation, that we can recover very quickly and safely from any of those cases. And all of that just takes additional time. And at the time we did Bitcoin Cash, we were also experiencing some of the highest volume that we had ever seen.
Right, yeah.
So between our scalability initiatives to try to make sure we had the most stable platform we could provide and new feature development, there's always going to be a balance between those things. And number one is that the customer is going to have a good experience. We can't risk that the features we have today are going to get impacted negatively by trying to rush to add new features. And it's hard because we want to add new features. We want to be able to bring new value, but not at high risk.
Right. In fact, that's kind of an interesting point, because I know all of the background work that went into implementing this, but when Coinbase announced that they were implementing Bitcoin Cash, it was all kind of sudden, and people suggested that you rushed it to market.
So that's not really true. The reality is we didn't know what was going to happen when the fork first happened. Now, when Bitcoin Cash first got created, I got involved very early outside of Coinbase, and there really wasn't a position for Coinbase other than we needed to see whether the network matured, whether it had enough liquidity, whether it had a user base, and really satisfied our digital currency requirements for adding a new asset. So there was zero chance of adding it right away, because we need to make sure that this is something that's worth adding to the platform and is a sustainable currency for our customers. And that is really a key constraint. Then there was the SegWit 2x pieces, and not to go into too much detail, but there was a lot of engineering work whether or not, to prep for that initiative if it were to go through. Because unlike a traditional, unlike the BCH hard fork, SegWit 2x was designed to be an upgrade to Bitcoin. It wasn't designed to be a fork. So we didn't know if Bitcoin itself, which one would be Bitcoin. Right? And if SegWit 2x got momentum and the majority hash rate and the community followed, all of these litmus tests on whether or not it was going to be the currency, we had to do a lot of engineering work, and that delayed us even looking at additional currencies in order to make sure that experience was safe, not just for regular customers, but for our merchant tools as well, because this was a potential upgrade to all of Bitcoin. So that meant our traditional merchant tools had to work. With Bitcoin Cash, we did not support that with our traditional merchant tools, and then came to market later with Coinbase Commerce, which was much easier for us, as we didn't have to worry about the possibility of the main Bitcoin chain switching, and possibly switching more than once. It has top hash rate and then switches. Right. So there was delays that occurred, and we wanted to be conscientious about it, and we took our time. And that's different than knee-jerk.
Mm-hmm. So when did you actually join Coinbase?
I joined about a year ago.
Okay, so you weren't around for the Ethereum Classic fork?
No, I was not around then. I heard stories about it, but I was not involved at that time.
Because I think Coinbase supported ETC withdrawals, but they never supported ETC trading. Is that right?
That is correct. We did offer withdrawals, and at a bare minimum, we knew that we had to offer withdrawal support for BCH. That was a guarantee. From day one, we knew that there was enough value on that chain that people would want their asset.
Yeah, whether they like the currency or not.
Right. It's free money. Everybody likes free money. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident that's in everybody, right?
Yep.
So now the question really was, do we offer just withdrawal, or do we offer a full working solution for buy and sell that we're going to support for a significant amount of time? And, eventually we obviously made the decision to support Bitcoin Cash in addition to our other currencies. And
what was the reason for that?
To be honest, I think that we see it as a healthy expansion of the ecosystem. There's been a lot of toxicity in the space. A lot of people want to argue with each other. And the truth is people have different visions of how to move forward. I think it's healthy that now each side can grow their perspective vision. And whether that's big blocks or small blocks or SegWit and Lightning or things like UTXO commitments, there's a lot of technology in the space. We're still early, and we're really excited to see how it evolves. And we think that Bitcoin Cash is really, they are doing a direction no one else is doing right now. And we're excited to see the potential of learning in the space. It had the market cap, that had the user adoption, and now we get to see how innovative the roadmaps across all of these digital currencies will pan out.
Okay, sure. And do you see any innovation happening on Bitcoin Cash?
I see tons of innovation.
Yep.
I mean, I was just talking to Thomas Vanderwensen. I might have messed up his name.
I'm too scared to say it.
But yes, but he's doing UTXO commitments right now. I want to take a look over the work he did in the Bitcoin mailing list. We have the Turing complete research that has happened from Clemens over at yours.org. We have people exploring not only gigabyte-sized blocks, but terabyte-sized blocks, and how to handle much larger UTXO sets than we have today.
Right.
We have things like parallel mempool acceptance that is being researched. So I see lots and lots of initiatives on Bitcoin Cash that I think are going to be important to the entire crypto space, and lessons that other cryptocurrencies hopefully will learn from and be able to get more actual statistical data as to what works and what doesn't. They're just different visions.
All right, so I'm going to end with a question that I know you're not allowed to answer, and that's what will be the next crypto that Coinbase supports?
So I can't answer that question. You're totally right about that. We have a currency guideline that we've published through GDAX that talks about liquidity requirements, decentralization requirements that we look at when we add a new cryptocurrency, and we really do abide by that. And I'm actually not in the loop on what we decide to add at Coinbase, so unfortunately that's one I can't
Just when they decide they come and tell you to implement it.
Yes, exactly. When they come to the crypto team and say, hey guys, we need to add this one, that's when I'll find out. And then I won't be able to say anything then. And
and by the way, please protect these billions of dollars that we have sitting.
Right, exactly. It's and with new currencies, it's actually a lot easier because I don't have instantaneously millions and millions of dollars worth of asset. It starts from a blank slate where people would have to deposit, and it actually starts small and then grows very big. With a fork, it's just, oh my goodness, I have all these assets and I need to make sure that I am a responsible custodian for them.
Excellent. Well, I think we'll end on that note then. So how many new users did Coinbase sign up in the last month?
I don't know what our last month, things have dropped off since the end of last year, to be honest. Just like the transaction volume, I think a lot of the growth across the ecosystem has slowed slightly. But we're still growing very fast and very happy with the user count.
Oh, I do want to ask, has Bitcoin Cash actually been popular on the platform? There's no regrets?
Oh, no, absolutely not. We're happy, and obviously we always wish things are smoother in certain areas. There's always little bugs to work out, but overall I think that the user base has been very happy. They're happy they got access to their Bitcoin Cash, and they're very happy that they have a very safe fiat environment to be able to trade in. A lot of people are using stable coins and things like that. We really like the fact that we deal directly with, real USD.
Yeah, which is also a lot harder than people think too.
Absolutely. Banking relationships are something that, we take very seriously, and that's why we work as a regulated exchange, so that we can give confidence to our banking partners.
Great. All right then, thank you very much, Josh Ellithorpe, for Coinbase. So, what's your Twitter handle for people to follow you?
So I'm ZQuestZ on Twitter.
ZQuestZ.
Yeah. So you can find me there. I'm also on a lot of the chats. I'm not very hard to find. Just feel free to Google me, and you'll find lots of material.
If someone talks a lot, I'm encouraging everyone to look them up, because I think you should. As much as I like to write about this stuff, you should go directly to the source.
Oh, absolutely. And then you get a better idea of where I came from and the history I have in the tech space. So I definitely advise that as well.
Great. Thanks a lot, Josh.
All right.